U.S. Farmers and Ranchers in Action would like to recognize the sponsors of the 2020 Honor the Harvest Forum. Welcome to the USFRA webcast, Farm Food Facts, for Wednesday, November 11th, 2020. Today, it's all about our future leaders, that is. With us is Alwin Hopf, who is working on his master's and PhD in agriculture and biological engineering at the University of Florida, and Alice Dien, a master's student at the University of California at Davis, and was our YAS 2021 Ag-vocacy winner from the 2019 Honor the Harvest Forum. It's truly an international edition, if you would. Alice, tell us where you are.
So I'm currently in Franceville. I'm in Toulouse, in the south of France.
And Alwin?
Yeah, I'm joining from Gainesville, Florida.
Okay, and to both of you, welcome to Farm Food Facts. Let me start with you, Alice. How was your experience attending the 2020 Honor of the Harvest Forum?
It was a really good experience. I didn't expect to have such a diverse pool of people joining that conversation. It was my first time being invited to the event, and I think I really had insightful and interesting conversations. It was a little bit challenging to have everything over Zoom, but it turned out to work really well. And I think I was amazed by all the people I met during the summit.
If you had one takeaway from the summit that was a standout that you never expected to find, what would that be?
I think it would be commitment. Like, I didn't expect people to be so committed. Like, I've been to summits and other events like this one before, but I could see that this event started in 2019, and people have been working about what the commitments they had in 2019. They've been working on them for this entire year, and we could really see that in 2020. And we have another event coming up, like following up on the one we had a couple months ago. So it's really like all about commitment and like not only having the conversations, but actually following up and taking action on what's been said during the summit.
So, Alwin, how was your experience and what was your key takeaway?
Somewhat similar. I mean, first of all, it was kind of a big surprise to get the email with the invitation because I've been to similar events before, but it was more focused on youth, where all other participants were youth. And this was kind of, for me, the first event where you really had people from all kind of like different positions, different areas of work, different age groups. So just kind of looking through the list of participants was already quite interesting, and I got very excited. And yeah, I agree with Alice. It was a very new format on Zoom. For me, the first online conference, so that's something to get used to, but I think they managed it really well with like the different breakout groups and the structure. So there was just a great experience overall. And I think my key takeaway was really this collaboration across the whole value chain, that it wasn't just researchers talking, it wasn't just industry talking, everyone was involved, policymakers, farmers. And so it was even more surprising, and I think also like an achievement to arrive at one goal at the end.
So let me just pick up on what you talked about as far as having younger generations in the food and in the ag space. How important is it for you personally? You both alluded to it, as well as for our industry to have your voice at Honor of the Harvest. Alwin, why don't you get started with that?
So I think it's very crucial. It's kind of key to success because we are the up and coming generation. Many challenges facing into the future, but also many opportunities. So I think the earlier we have an opportunity to get involved, the better, for not just for us, but kind of for everyone. And I think we have many new and maybe sometimes unconventional ideas. And if we can kind of connect to like more, let's say, established people with more connections and maybe more influence, and maybe also more experience, I think that's a very fruitful kind of combination for both sides.
So, Alice, if you could have the entire audience from Honor of the Harvest on a Zoom call, and you've gone through the experience. What would you like to say to all these hundreds of people?
Yes, so I would like to say that I think we need to change the way we're defining agriculture currently, and I know those people are aware of that, but I think we're doing a very good job on trying to define what agriculture should be like in the US for the next years. Like the next 30 years are crucial, and until now, I think agriculture was mainly focused on like feeding people, which is still important, right? But now we have new inputs into the conversation, like climate change and environment, and we really need to insert those topics into the conversations about agriculture, and I think that they are becoming as important as feeding the world. So it's really like just keep having this type of conversations. Let's keep moving forward and finding the best path for us to move agriculture forward.
So, Alwin, and for both of you, you're in this for the long term. This is your career. This is what you're studying. What do you say to American youth who might be considering food and ag sector or might not be considering it as a viable career path? Alice?
So I would say, like, look at what other people are doing and really think about agriculture as this interdisciplinary thing. Like, I think one of the main problems with youth today is that when we say agriculture, they straight think like, oh, farming. Like, yeah, you can be a farmer, which is really nice, but there's so many other things you can do within agriculture. Like, it doesn't have to be farming. You can be I'm an engineer and I work in agriculture, you see. So like, really like keeping all options open and not thinking it's just this one thing and you don't want to do that. Like, we need to change, we need to make agriculture more attractive, because it is very interesting and it's very important. And I think we're right now maybe not doing a good job at saying that to our young people.
So how do we do a better job? What's the languaging that we need to have? So Alice, you meet me on the street, you tell me what you do, and I'm heading off to college, and give me the elevator pitch of why I should get involved in agriculture when I'm thinking about getting into advertising, for example. Alwin, what are your thoughts? What would you tell somebody who's thinking about agriculture as a career, but thinking about other things as well? And what's your sales pitch? Why should they get involved in agriculture?
Yeah, so I think from my perspective, agriculture has kind of a very traditional image, which makes it very intriguing, it's like historic, something it's part of our history. That's very good on the one side, but also not like super attractive, I would say, as a young person, because you want to do new things and be more cutting edge. But I think what many people just don't know, and what we can better communicate, is that agriculture is cutting edge in so many disciplines. And so, example for the sales pitch, if you want to do marketing, but you also want to do agriculture, I would just say you can do both. Just combine it. You can do agriculture marketing, and not just because you can, but I think because we need it. Like, we need to have the best marketing people also work in agriculture, because we have very important messages to communicate. And so it's like kind of a pressing challenge to be better to communicate that. And it's a field that kind of involves us all in science, even if we are not farmers, even if we are not directly working in agriculture. It's just so connected to our everyday life. Like, I mean, it's the source of our fiber, fuel, energy, everything. So if you're kind of can't decide between agriculture or some other thing, just do both and try to combine it.
So when you look around at your peers, both at university and not in university, what are you seeing these people doing in U.S. agriculture as it relates to climate solutions? We talk a lot about climate change, climate solutions, the Paris Accord. What are you seeing our young leaders doing as it relates to climate solutions?
Yes, so in the university, for example, a lot of people are doing research into switching energy, like the type of energy we use. For example, I specialize in drying, and to dry agricultural commodities, we use a lot of fossil fuels. We use propane, methane, and we're trying to see, like, can we use solar energy, for example? Can we change the way we're doing this, but keep the quality of the crops and keep the same productivity, and how would that even like help the farmers? So that's what I'm seeing, like in a research level, there's a lot of effort being done on that area. In the farming, it's quite different because most of the time young people that are farmers actually are picking the farm from their families. So like switching ways, things have been done for so many years. It's challenging, it's hard, but we're seeing, like especially in the US, a young movement of people fighting for sustainable agriculture and sustainable practices, and that's very important. Like we need that kind of action, because that's how we create change, and that's how we can make that change happen even in a policy level. So I think young people have a very important role in that side, and yes, we're seeing lots of people taking initiative.
And Alwin, what are you seeing that's being done for climate solutions?
I mean, one very important thing I think right now, what I see among my peers, is definitely kind of adoption in the first place. I mean, because it already is a challenge, like depending where you are in the country or in the world, and you need to have some solutions right now, how to be like better deal with drought or increased temperature in the summer, things like this. So that's kind of the foundation, I would say. But equally important, what I see is many people looking like way ahead into the future, finding solutions to offset carbon, for example, to find more sustainable ways of producing the fiber and fuel we need. And so it's a good mixture, but people are definitely in it for the long run, I feel like. And we have this long vision among the young people.
Well, I want to thank both of you for joining us today on Farm Food Facts, and clearly with leadership such as both of you, we're going to be in a good place. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
U.S. Farmers and Ranchers in Action would like to recognize the sponsors of the 2020 Honor the Harvest Forum. Our movement sponsors, United Soybean Board and National Pork Board. Our presenting sponsors, Wells Fargo, Cargill, and DMI. Our platinum sponsor, the Native American Agriculture Fund. Our gold sponsors, Bader Rudder, Bayer, Corteva, Dairy West, Edelman, Ernst & Young, the Foundation for Food and Agriculture Research, Frog, McDonald's, Nebraska Soybean Board, and Nutrien. Our silver sponsors, CoBank and OCP North America. Our bronze sponsor, Nestle Purina. Our copper sponsor, Ruan. And our donor sponsor, Tyson. For more on all things food and agriculture, please visit us at usfarmersandranchers.org. Also, be sure to look out for us on Facebook at U.S. Farmers and Ranchers and on Twitter at USFRA. Until next time.